Well, good to see you, man.
And you, yeah. I got my full Britpop attire on for this one, especially. We're going to the early mid '90s for this.
Right, right.
I got
You've
my
got some hair to kind of mess with. Unfortunately, I don't, but
yeah, pretty green glasses and the bucket hat if I need it as well.
nice, nice, nice.
The Rennie
Right.
bucket hats.
Yeah, I need to get one.
Yeah, well, it looks cool though if I put it on properly. I just got the headphones make it look the headphones make it look stupid at the moment. Okay. So yeah, we are talking about Gene celebrating the 20th anniversary of their debut album called Olympian, which is also the title track of that album as well. There it is.
There it is.
Nice.
Yeah, and then of course the single Olympian.
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, this album this album meant a whole lot to me. I know you're kind of learning about them as we go here, but
Yeah. I'm going to be the noob today and just I'm taking the back seats to let John run this show basically.
well, I appreciate you having me and let me talk about an album that really means a whole lot to me. Of course, I guess we can just go right into the record and then talk about the possibility circulating and the rumors circulating around that
Yeah.
you know, they may have a big announcement on the actual anniversary date to possibly do a reunion with everybody. Again, all rumors, but we don't know just yet. But
I think it seems realistic, though. I think it's plausible.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
what was the word? They used a lyric from a song, didn't they? This is not the end or something.
right, right. There's
Was it?
something
Was that the lyric?
I think so, and I'm not exactly sure what song that's from, but
Yeah,
yeah,
this may not be the end. I think that
right,
was the lyric.
right, right.
And yeah, I mean, saying that sounds like potential reunion for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we can talk through the tracks, go through them from track one to the end. Sure.
Yeah, yeah. So this the record was released on March 20th, 1995. Uh, on I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name of this label correct. Uh, Costermonger was the UK label that it was released on, and it was released on Polydor here in the States. Um, Produced by Phil Vanal, who also worked with Placebo, Pulp, Elastica, Feeder, and James.
Right.
So,
So yeah, he was deep into the Britpop thing.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, and of course, you know the lineup of Martin Rossiter on vocals and keys. I pronounce his last name the same way you do. I'm assuming it's correct.
Yeah.
And Steve Mason on guitar, and Kevin Miles on bass, and Matt James on drums. Matt is really active on socials. He's on his page and the new Gene official pages that have been launched recently on Instagram and Facebook, and he's always engaging with people. And yeah, and I've chatted with him on Facebook. Being a drummer, he's obviously a huge influence on me. I love his playing. Um, so, and we can get to all that later if we have time. But yeah, so to the album, um, it starts off with "Haunted by You."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, great track. I did
uh,
check that one out, and
yeah,
I like
I
that
mean
one.
the guitar riff that starts that song,
Yeah,
and it's a rocking tune. And the another thing with Gene is they've they kind of got compared to the Smiths. And to me, it's like, I don't want to say it's unfair, but I really think they had their own unique thing going. Maybe with Martin's vocals, his lyrics, the way he sang the lyrics is a bit Morrissey-esque.
I think
So
I think there's certain tracks where you can tell he's trying to pull away from that comparison.
yeah, absolutely.
There's definitely tracks where he has got his own voice. I think it's when his voice goes into that kind of tremble, you know, when he vibrato kind of thing. That's when it gets a bit similar. But
Yeah,
I think he has a bigger range than Morrissey. Probably he can reach higher notes.
agreed, agreed. And he's got, it's pretty dark lyrics too, I mean,
Yeah, maybe a bit like Manson, maybe in terms of the darkness.
yeah,
They had some
yeah,
dark lyrics.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But so yeah, to the point of being compared to the Smiths, I was actually in a Smiths Morrissey tribute band for a while here in Memphis, and these guys had never heard of Gene. And I remember one day at rehearsal, I pulled up "Sleep Well Tonight" off this album, which is one of my favorite tracks on the record, and I wanted to see what they thought, And I remember the guitar player at the time telling me, "Man, it sounds more like Oasis to me." Because I don't get that. Maybe the guitar, maybe a little bit, but nowhere near
No, no.
Oasis to
Yeah,
me.
I don't see that either.
But
But that track, by the way, "Sleep Well Tonight," that's the one that's on that Britbox compilation.
oh, nice,
So that song was my introduction to the band.
great, great, I mean, great tune, great tune. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Again, you got to realize these guys have never heard Gene. That's the only song they heard, and it was a quick, you know. But anyway, so yeah, back to "Haunted by You." The what a great track. And that song is actually a tune that when I had my Britpop band, Shaker Maker 901, when we went to Chicago, uh, we played that song. And my buddy Nico, who was in a Cure tribute band that we happened to be playing with, got up and sang lead vocals on that song. As I told you earlier, I wish somebody had, done a phone video of it or something, because it really, really sounded good. But anyway, uh, so in the outro of that song where Martin says, "With all the things I've said, I'm still haunted by you. In every town, in every place, you're waiting. And on my tongue lies disgrace. I'm still haunted by you. Yes, you're in my way." And I remember just every time we played that song in Memphis too, of course, nobody knew it. Just, the way he's just saying that over and over, it's just, I would mouth those lyrics as I was playing. And just real intense, man. Just a great track overall. I mean, everybody's just nailing it. So, um, and then of course we get to "Your Love It Lies," and that starts with Steve Mason with a kind of a Johnny Marr-esque intro on that song. Uh, it's a nice hi-hat work for Matt at the beginning as well, and it really builds up nicely. Um,
It would be really great to see you upload a cover of yourself playing it, like even if it's just a drum, solo. Your drums isolated without the
Oh
band.
yeah,
That would
yeah, and
still be good.
I've got a couple of those on my Instagram page. There, I did that. It's Scott's studio at Memphis Magnetic.
Mm.
I did "Local Boy" in the Photograph by the Phonics, Stereophonics, and Cigarettes and Alcohol.
Yeah.
obviously Oasis, and I did a I did a Smiths tune. Uh, anyway, but yeah, I've done that over at Scott. Ironically, talking about Scott, I was hoping to get by there this weekend, and we had talked back and forth, but I think he's got some sessions going on. I was going to try to do that,
Mm.
you know,
Do a Gene
that's what
cover.
I wanted by you over there. But he actually worked for Polydor back in the day, and he's got a lot of stuff, that they gave him or he was able to get, and he's got some Gene stuff, and I'm going to, he doesn't want it anymore, so he's going to toss it my way whenever we can make that happen. I can get over there, but because I was telling him about this, and he was like, "Oh man, I think I've got some of their stuff buried in my, boxes at the house from when he worked with Polydor." So yeah, that I would love to get over there and do that. Um, but yeah, so um, where are we at here? Are we on we're on Truth. Yeah, because we just talked about Your Love It Lies. So the next track is Truth Rest Your Head. Another nice guitar intro from Steve. A lot of good rim shot work from Matt on that tune. And then I don't know if I'm speeding through these too fast or not, or
It's
not
fine.
moving enough detail, but
Yeah, it's good.
uh,
Yeah.
then we got track 4, which is A Car That Sped, which kind of starts with a piano intro. And I'm assuming Martin played that because on the liner notes of the record, it says, he played keys. And
Mm.
so I'm
That's
assuming he did that. But
Yeah, that's good.
uh,
More than
particular
vocals.
lyrics from that song, to demonstrate kind of how he writes. And of course, I'm not going to sing it because I don't sound any, I can't sing, but really cool lyrics. You have to do it on your own. I can't aid you anymore. And you must learn to breathe alone. I mean, this is Morrissey-esque stuff, kind of.
Mm.
And all this is yours, your shoulder strong. So come lengthen your stride when you're alone. Oh, there's light outside, but I don't recall the time we spent. It's hidden in a car that sped to its death and to its rest. I mean, that
Wow.
is kind of Morrissey-esque, I mean,
Yeah.
pretty
Wow.
dark.
Dark stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So, but brilliant,
Mm.
you know. Um,
But yeah, I do think the some of the guitar work reminds me of the Blue Tones. Mark Devlin, the lead guitar player from the Blue Tones. I do get that kind of vibe from Gene. In terms of they got more of a laid back kind of sounds that kind of even sounds kind of country-ish in a way, you know?
yeah,
They're,
particularly on
they're not quite as like punky or poppy as the rest some of the other Britpop bands. I would
agreed,
I would
agreed.
say Ocean Color Scene would also be a fair comparison as well, probably, because they do like more acoustic kind of light overdriven kind of guitar stuff, you know?
Yeah, on this record, there is a lot of where it's light, starts off light, but it builds, and
Yeah,
then some heavy, crunchy guitar riffing going on by Steve.
yeah. I
A
think
lot.
they do reach that climax eventually, don't they? Where it's the wall of
Oh yeah,
sound.
Sleep Well Tonight is a good
Yeah,
example of that. I mean, but
yeah. That classic '90s wall of sound.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that gets us to track 5, Left-Handed, which is a real rocking tune on that record. One of the more rocking tunes. Another distorted guitar intro from Steve, and there's a great guitar solo in that song. Um, so yeah, and then you got the classic track 6, London, Can You Wait? And that's a very smooth intro with the whole band. uh, with some nice organ in the background with the intro, a very powerful chorus in that song. And then track 7, To the City. And it's this song has a really unique, I don't know if he's playing a rack or the floor, but a great snare tom interchange throughout the whole tune. When you listen to that tune, you'll hear what I'm talking about. And that song also has some killer bass work from Kevin Miles. I mean, some great runs on the bass. Now, I guess I'm coming at this from a musician standpoint.
Yeah, from a rhythm
and
standpoint.
Yeah, a fan, and a fan.
That's what I was gonna wonder. Like, how influential do you think the drummer is on you?
Oh, huge,
Yeah.
huge. I mean,
Yeah,
I told him that too when we chatted a little bit on Facebook that just the way he plays is great. He's released some solo stuff. I think the latest single he released, gosh, I forgot the name of that song, but I think he had Steven and Kevin working with him on that song. So I think it was basically Gene minus Martin, of course. But look it up. I'll send it to you when we get finished. But it's a really good tune, and he's singing, of course. But yeah, so he's still releasing stuff. I'm not sure about Steve and Kevin. I don't know what they've done outside of Gene, but obviously they worked with him on this tune. But yeah, so that brings us up to Still Can't Find the Phone, which is track 8, which, to your point, I wouldn't say country-esque, but Matt's playing a shuffle throughout the whole tune, which is really cool.
Like a 3/4 time. 6
Yeah,
yeah, that dun 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 dun.
right.
That kind of rhythm.
And then Martin kind of gives a nod to Elvis in his vocal styling on this tune. You can hear it, but he kind of goes at one point, and it's totally Elvis, man. And it's like, okay, well, I get what you're doing there. And I mean, I heard it immediately when I first heard that song. But pretty neat how he does that. And then, of course, we get to the big one, track number 9, Sleep Well Tonight. This song, probably my favorite track on the record. I mean, Haunted by You's a close second.
Yeah.
But, again, I give an example of his lyrics, just, the chorus, where Sleep Well Tonight. I wish I could sing it. I'll let you sing it. Maybe you could sing it.
Okay. I don't think I can do a good job.
I definitely can't. But Sleep Well Tonight. Tomorrow we'll fight. Would you like it in town? As the bass drums boom by, we'll leave this lay-by, this excuse for a town. Now that everybody knows all about me, I've been humbled, I've been sold, born with plenty, but you're left empty. That almost is, to me, it's like, again, I'm only taking a bit out of the song, but if you listen to the whole song and what he's singing about, it's almost kind of, I think he might be talking about nightlife and the clubs and the pubs, because he does mention the clubs and the pubs at one point in the song.
That kind of that fits the Britpop stereotype of
absolutely.
The whole kind of going out with the lads kind of thing.
Yeah,
but they're doing it in a more of a southern manner, perhaps. It's not quite so that, not like rowdy northern kind of crowd, maybe.
Oh yeah.
And but also maybe it's about a little nod to How Soon Is Now, because that's about clubbing.
Yes, yes, exactly.
There we go.
Yes,
The Morrissey connection back
right,
again.
right. Absolutely, especially on that song for sure. Uh, and then of course we get to track 10, Olympian,
Yep.
which
Title track. Yeah.
um, and this definitely has a nice acoustic opening by Steve, and it steadily builds, you know, throughout the whole song, and which is great. And then track 11, which is We'll Find Our Own Way. I don't have too much to say about this song. I mean, it's a good tune. And then I think that's where the album ends.
Yeah.
The UK.
Would you
Uh,
say that's the weak link song of the album? Would you say?
for me, probably. I mean, I'm sure other people have their own
Yeah.
opinion. I'm sure it might be other fans' favorite tune on the record. But for me, that's just kind of, I don't think there's any filler on this record, but for me, it's probably I'm not going to, I guess, least favorite for lack of a better, term, but still a great tune. Now, I think that's the end of the album for the UK release, but I think, and which I've got the US release, which the Polydor release, and the two bonus tracks, number 12 for the Dead, and then 13 Be My Light, Be My Guide. I think For the Dead's a great, great song. Great guitar intro. Some of my favorite lyrics from Martin on that song. This is really dark. And again, I'm just picking out part of the song. I didn't want to write down the whole tune and bore you and everybody else with the whole song. But man, check this out. Give me a rope, I'll take it gladly. Find me a tree and make it snappy.
Wow.
Bye, Ma. It's my time to go. Yes, this one's for the dead. I mean, I know, man. That's pretty dark, but again, I don't know what you got to remember the whole tune too, and take into consideration the whole song and what he's talking about. But still, that one stanza, pretty pretty dark.
Pretty morbid stuff.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if Martin Rossiter how sincere was he with those lyrics? Like, did it actually relate to his own feelings, or do you think it's a bit of melodrama about it?
Yeah.
Is it just poetry he's inspired by, or does he have all these kind of dark feelings inside him? That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but I mean, again, a lot of his writing is pretty dark. So I mean, I don't write, so I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of writers can take things from just what they see and around them and interpret
some
it.
people are really good at adopting different personalities.
Exactly.
They can change characters and stuff.
Yeah.
But
so again, like you said,
theatrical figures.
Right. And then the last track on the US release is Be My Light, Be My Guide. This intro is really, really cool. Again, another great guitar riff intro from Steve that comes in nicely with 4-count hi-hat beats from Matt and a bass run. Then it repeats the intro, only this time Matt's doing a tom thing that's really cool. Again, the people know what I'm talking about by the song, but and that's the end of the album. So
that's pretty cool though, how the US version got 2 extra tracks. That's good value for money.
Absolutely. So yeah, 13 songs, and those 2 last songs are great tunes. I don't know how they were released on or where they were released in the UK.
But perhaps they were kept as B-sides.
That's what I was thinking as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's just a quick overview of the record. I mean, happy 30th anniversary. I mean, I think it stands
Yeah.
for me as one of the great releases of 1995. I mean, it's one of my favorites from the Britpop
Yeah.
era, especially I know there's been a lot of, I mean, just recently didn't Elastica celebrate the 30 years of
Yeah. I saw Britpop Buzz promoted that. Yeah, it was
our
13th,
our
March the
good
13th.
yeah our
The same day as this one,
yeah,
which
which you
I celebrated this myself.
did a great, yeah, that was a great show you did.
Well, apart from the bit in the middle where I forgot to add one of the tracks in the tier list, but yeah, it was quite good. I think I did okay. Yeah, so another great album. It's such a 1995 is just such a stacked year of big releases.
Absolutely, man.
You got Sleeper, the It Girl. That's another one. That's really good.
See, okay, so
You know that
when I'm
one?
going to be in Manchester, they're actually playing. I'm doing that thing with Reverb on October 18th, and I think Sleeper's playing on the 17th with I forget the name of the band that they're playing with. We
Yeah,
talked about it previously. I just never really got into them, man. I and Elastica. I mean, I know they had a huge impact on the scene, but I actually did see them in Memphis. They played a small club in Memphis, the same club that Oasis played. Uh, but again, I mean, I'm just taking Elastica and Sleeper. Uh, just they were okay. I mean, again, I know the huge impact they've had, and they did have, and I know that's going to be a huge night on the 17th. But God, I wish it was Gene. While I'm over there, that'd be killer.
there could be something. There could be something if the reunion comes off. But yeah, maybe not on that exact day. But
Right.
there might be like a US tour next year.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I'm anxious to hear what the announcement's going to be. There's a big buzz right now. So
Yeah, it's always exciting when you see those teasers on social media.
right.
Like the band Catherine Wheel, they were another one who kept on teasing and teasing, and in the end, it was just vinyl re-releases of Chrome and Ferment.
Yeah,
And
dude,
now they're doing like some Q&A for Happy Days, their third
oh,
album.
we should do a show on Catherine Wheel. They're one of my,
Yeah,
I mean, were they shoegaze? Maybe they were at first with Ferment.
yeah, I don't know, sort of blurring the lines. I think Ferment is
Right.
shoegaze, yeah.
And there might be some elements on
Maybe a bit
Chrome.
of Chrome, yeah, some of Chrome, but yeah.
After that, I think
Happy Days, they're really into that alternative rock kind of grunge thing, aren't they?
right. But
Uh,
is Heel on Happy Days?
Heal, yeah. The time it takes to heal.
A great
Yeah.
song. They're one of my favorites. I did get to see them on that last album they put out in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wishville, isn't it? From the year
yeah,
2000.
yeah. And the original bass player
He
was not,
wasn't there. I think it was the guy who stood in for Swerve Driver when I saw them.
yeah, young guy. I
The,
can't.
the name isn't coming to me at the moment, but I am friends with him on Facebook. Well,
Oh, really? Yeah, he did a great job. It was really cool. Kind of. I know we're off topic here, but uh,
yeah,
with
I can find the names. Hold on. Yeah,
he was wearing an Iron
carry on.
Maiden. He was wearing an Iron Maiden T-shirt at
Yeah,
that show, and
yeah.
of
Well,
course,
of course we know why, don't we?
yeah,
Because Rob Dickinson, the front man, is the cousin of Bruce Dickinson.
Bruce, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
quite interesting how yeah, you got like one's like a metal guy and then one's more sort of indie rock. It's funny how they're both on different kind of paths, you know?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I like Rob's solo album too. But Fresh Wine for the Horses, is that
Oh
right?
yeah, I've seen that.
That,
Yes, I
that's a
mean I've
good
seen.
record, man.
He does a really great touching cover of well, not cover, more of a version. I mean, of Black Metallic. You know, it's very acoustic, isn't it? And it's the ebo. You get to hear the ebo at the ends come
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Uh, yeah, but that record's got some really good tracks on it. I'd love to see them get back together. Now they were, again, I know we're, like you said, they blur the lines of shoegaze. They always get mentioned in the classic shoegaze
They do,
bands,
yeah, they do. Yeah.
Um, yeah, we could do a whole show on them because Tim Freeze Green, who produced a lot of their stuff, was uh, produced a lot of my favorite band of all time, Talk Talk, did a lot of their stuff, and I hear a lot of similarities on Talk Talk's later records, Spirit of Eden, Laughing Stock, and
But Ben, sorry, yeah, Ben Ellis. That's the name of the bass player. He stepped in, and I saw him play for Swerve Driver in when they were doing Mezcal Head and Rays together in 2018.
oh wow,
That was incredible. It was
wow, yeah.
their two first albums played back to back, you know, and they
Wow.
did like a little. There was a break in between the two sets, so yeah, it was crazy. It was like 2.5 hours worth of music. It went on all night. It was amazing.
Those first two records are awesome. And of course, I've told you this story before, but I got turned on to Swerve Driver, not knowing who they were, when they opened up for the Smashing Pumpkins again at that same little club on Beale Street here in Memphis that Oasis played, Elastica played, the Charlatans played. I didn't know who Swerve Driver was. I was going to see the Pumpkins.
Yeah,
And when they came on, I was like, wow. And I'll say it to anybody, they blew the Pumpkins off the stage that night. I mean, they were
yeah.
effing killer. And then I started buying everything. And that was for the Mescal Head record.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, so I didn't even think the Pumpkins were that great that night. I didn't.
Yeah.
They were. I, but man, I walked away from that show being so thankful that I got turned on to a band that became one of my favorite bands. I never would have known about them had it not been for
Yeah,
for that.
and now they're doing the rounds with Rick Beato producing their latest EP.
Oh, what?
You know the big music YouTuber guy Rick Beato.
Yes, yes, yeah.
He produced two of the tracks, two of the four tracks on there.
Did
Well,
Mark Gardner have something to do
yeah,
with it?
Mark Gardner did two tracks, and then Rick
Yeah,
Beato did the other two.
yeah,
So I mean, you know, if Rick Beato knows about them and praises them, then that's a really good sign.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, so continuing with our conversation on Gene, we are looking at the other albums of their discography. So, John, take it away.
All right, so to wrap up here with with them, uh, so the rest of their catalog, and not to since we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of Olympian, I did want to briefly touch on the rest of their records. We had Drawn to the Deep End, which was released in 97, Revelations, which was released in 99, and then Libertine, which was released in 2001. Like the Verve's fourth, I feel like Libertine is Gene's fourth, meaning they kind of went in a different direction on that record. And I just didn't care for it that much. That was the last record they put out before they broke up. There is a track on there that I really like called You. That was the standout track for me on that record. But both Drawn to the Deep End and Revelations are fantastic records. And then they had some compilations that came out to See the Lights, which was released in '96, which had B-sides and covers and live versions of their tunes. Actually have that one on vinyl here.
Nice. Yeah,
Which is
I like that. Yeah.
Which is a great record. One of their B-sides, which is one of my favorite songs that they do, is Sick, Sober, and Sorry. That's on here. And so yeah, that's a great compilation. And they also did a live album that was released in 2000 called Rising for Sunset, which is recorded from two shows, June 1st and June 2nd of 2000 from the Troubadour in Los Angeles. I've got the CD of that, but I've got the DVD release.
Right, nice.
That is as well. And there's more songs on the DVD release than the CD version that they put out, but great document of
Yeah.
what they sounded like live, especially being, over here in the
In
US.
America, I was gonna say, how well attended do you think that gig was? Because you said they weren't that big in the States, so
The Troubadour, I don't, again, that's another well-known club on the Strip in Los Angeles. I've been there a couple times. I mean, it's not a huge venue. Gosh, I'm not sure.
I'm really surprised you weren't there.
I know, me too. At that time, I didn't have the finances to make the trek, but yeah, I remember when it happened, and I definitely wanted to go, but just couldn't make it happen on my end. But
That's a shame.
yeah.
I like the sunset cover, the photograph on that DVD though. That sunset's really blissful.
Yeah, they actually, that's a new song they debuted at those shows called Rising for Sunset, which is a great tune. So yeah, there was that, and then they released a best of set called As Good as It Gets from 2001.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then
there were lots of great best ofs that came out around that time.
yeah.
You know, I
And-
think Supergrass had their like best of in like 2004 or something,
right,
and then
right.
the Charlatans, and they had some like Forever or something was their that was their best of.
Right.
The very best of the Stone Roses that came out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Stop the Clocks for Oasis, and also the Ride. Ride had a box set come out in 2001, which includes just looking at it over there. It's got the Live at Reading Festival from
Got
'92.
that. I've got that box set. I'd
Yeah,
have to dig to find it, but man, that's great. Yeah, that's
yeah,
a great set.
yeah, because it's got the
CD.
firing blanks as well, which is like all of the demos and unreleased stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great box. But so yeah, then just a couple of more. They released the John Peel Sessions 95 through 99 on in 2006, and then in 2020 they released. I wish I had this. I don't have it, but it's and it was a limited release. But they released the whole catalog box set, 8 vinyl albums, and then a 9 CD set. Now
Wow,
I've got the
a real collector's piece.
Yeah, I did buy another, which is part of that release. I bought the best of
That's
on
cool.
vinyl. Now, this isn't the as good as it gets best of. This is part of that 2020. They
Yeah.
released this box set, but so I opted for this instead of buying the whole box set just so I could get a part of it. But this is a good collection too. 22 tracks on there, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a good good
But
representation.
perhaps that would be a good place for a newbie like me to start.
Absolutely. Either one of those best ofs, the one I just showed you or the as good as it gets best of collection in 2001.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, I'll try and give them a listen.
but yeah, so my buddy Nico, who lives in Chicago, uh who I've done some stuff with, and he actually saw Gene in '95 at a club called the Double Door. I think it's a 500 capacity venue. I don't, it's not there anymore, but so he actually got to see him and actually he said he had a chat with Steve Mason after the gig. And so, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that, I hope they do get back together, we'll see what happens, right? We'll find out, I guess, this coming week.
Yeah, on the 20th probably, which is
Somebody,
the actual anniversary of the album, so
right.
that would make sense.
I just can't imagine it would be a box set because they just released a huge box set,
No.
what, 5 years ago? I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they could do a box of Olympian, but, you know, I think all signs point to a, a reunion. It makes sense
Yeah.
because
With the
a lot of these bands are getting back together for you know, to
yeah.
mark
Yeah, I think so.
95.
Yeah. And I don't know if they were big fans of Oasis, but perhaps that was a motivating factor, just seeing those guys get back together. So maybe they thought they wanted a piece of the party as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what people were saying that, weren't they? They said when Oasis reformed, that would be the floodgates for all the other Britpop bands to get back together. And
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's coming true.
It looks like it. I mean,
Yeah. Everyone's pretty much back together apart from the Verve. You think about the other big bands. Blur did the Wembley gig a couple of years ago, I think it was. That's on DVD as well. Ocean Color Scene are still doing shows. I don't think they ever really split up. Ocean Color Scene, to be honest, I think they were always kind of there. You
Charlatans,
know, like
Suede, I mean, the Manics, but like you
Suede,
said,
Pulp.
they never broke up either, right? None of those bands,
Yeah,
but they're
yeah, Mannix. They put a new one out or something recently. Maybe not. I don't know.
yeah, they've got a brand new one out. And look, man, we've never really talked about the Manics, but uh their new stuff I'm not so crazy about, but man, the stuff with Richie was great, the old stuff, but the Everything Must Go and This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours, those two records, you know, gosh, at the height of the Britpop thing for uh Everything Must Go.
Mm. It's a good record. Yeah. Um.
But that was the first album they did after Richie, you know, whatever happened to Richie. But I
Mm,
guess do a whole show on the Manics. But
yeah. Yeah.
I loved them. I had tickets twice to see the Manics over here. First time was them opening up for Oasis in Chicago, and that's the infamous where Oasis split mid tour.
Yeah.
I get, what was that? Was
That was with that bass player, wasn't it? Scott McDonald or something was his name. No, it wasn't Scott McDonald, was it? It was I might have to get Google out here. But there was the bass player that came in after Grigsby left from exhaustion. It was Scott something,
I can't
and
remember.
he just walked away on the bus or something, didn't he? I think he had I don't know, he threw a punch at Noel or something, and then walked off the bus. Said, "I'm not in it" or something now.
Yeah, I guess it was for the morning was it for the Morning Glory album? I don't. But
He's in the Wonderwall video, and so he just stood in for he was only in it for like 2 months. Scott McLeod,
okay.
yeah, Scott McLeod was this guy. He stood in for Grigsby, and then they stopped the tour, the US tour or something.
But yeah, so interesting story on that. The night before I was supposed to leave, and I was going to drive to Chicago to see this show. And again, this was before, a lot of before social media and anything. We watching TV, and I saw a thing scroll on the bottom of, I don't know what station we were watching. It was just U.S. Oasis abruptly cancels U.S. tour. I mean, and I was like, oh my God, and again, the night before I was supposed to leave. So, God, that killed me because I really wanted to see the Mannix. And then I had tickets to see the Mannix play a small club in San Diego. This was on the This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours tour. And it was just them playing a small club in San Diego, and they canceled. I can't remember the reason, but my band at the time, Crash Into June, was actually playing in California, and we extended our trip an extra day just so we could see the Mannix, and that was a last minute cancellation. So I guess I was cursed. I guess I was never supposed to see the Mannix, but
Yeah,
man, those
yeah.
records,
I don't
great,
know.
great albums. I Bradfield's a great, just a great guitar player, but and singer. But yeah, we could do a whole show on the Mannix. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, did you get into the Mannix much?
Quite like their singles, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
they're okay, yeah.
again, I'm not crazy about the newer, the real
Yeah.
new stuff, but
Yeah, they're okay. Uh,
so yeah.
yeah, but yeah, the thing about Gene, it's interesting how they carried on into the 2000s for a little bit because most bands split up, didn't they, by the end of the 90s? So it's quite unusual for a Britpop band to actually get into the 2000s with the 2001 album. So
Yeah,
they tried to stay in the industry, whereas a lot of the other Britpop bands had given up by that point. You know, 98, 99, it was pretty much over for Britpop. So
yeah,
it's
true.
good how they tried to soldier on.
Yeah, like I said, active from 93 to 2004. And yeah, I don't know the exact reason they split, but I know Rossiter put out a solo record, and I don't know too much about that record, but I think he had some kind of podcast for a while as well, or something, or a radio show, or something.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, I'm not real familiar with that, but and then a few years ago he did a a solo show. I don't know if it was for charity or something, where he put together some guys and played a lot of the Gene catalog. So yeah, but again, a huge band for me. I you know for the Brit pop bands, I really like them. a lot, you know.
Yeah,
So
cool.
yeah, man. I hope they get back together. Again, like you said,
Yeah.
we'll see this week what
Fingers
happens.
crossed. Fingers
Right,
crossed.
right.
And I think, yeah, I don't think they had the spotlight, did they, as much as the other bands? So,
Yeah, they were. I read something recently. I might even have it saved on my phone here. This blurb about their possible. I can't find it, but it's, somebody said something about them being a kind of on the the B list of
yeah,
Britpop bands, like they weren't an A-lister. Oh, here it is. Uh, I don't know where this came from, but I copied this offline. Uh, some site posted this about their possible reunion. After Oasis made a mint off their Reformation concerts, more 90s and aughts acts have miraculously decided to give music another go. The latest to swagger back onto the scene are Britpop B-listers Gene.
yeah,
Really? B-listers? I mean, no, man.
yeah.
They I think they deserve to be when you mention A-list Britpop bands, whoever those are. I mean, obviously Oasis. I mean, I think for me, Gene's an A-list bands. I mean, the musicianship in that band alone, the lyrics that Martin came up with. I mean, no, man, they ain't B-listers, man. They deserve to be listed in the top tier, in my opinion, of the Britpop bands. Which I mean, who are the A-listers? I mean, Oasis and who else?
Oasis, Blur, Pulp and Suede. They're often considered the big four.
Big four. Well, here's my big four, brother. My big four: Oasis, Manson, Gene, the big three. Gosh, I don't know who my fourth one would be. That's God, that's tough.
The Verve.
Yeah, but see, I've thought about this.
But then, actually, no, I would say the Verve were kind of doing their own thing, really.
Right. They kind of get lumped into the Britpop thing, but gosh, when they started out, they were considered shoegaze,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I wouldn't
True,
even maybe
true.
Northern Soul has elements of Britpop, but again,
No, I don't think so. It's too dark for Britpop.
yeah, exactly. But it kind of get that album somehow
I
kind of
think it's the bittersweet song, isn't it? Because it's all about kind of working class life, and I think that's always a big thing in Britain. So walking down that street in London as well in the music video. So I think it's just the bittersweet song that gets him lumped in, and just the fact that Ashcroft's got some acoustic ballads in there, but by default, people often just think, playing an acoustic guitar in the 90s is automatically Britpop.
right, right. Yeah,
Just the open chord kind of ballad kind of thing about life. People just see that as Britpop, but you are correct though. Yeah, they're not. They're kind of on the they're doing their own thing still, aren't they? Like Radiohead, like Manson. Those guys are doing their own thing on the fringes, but
yeah,
while still being really successful.
right, right. Um, yeah, I don't know who my fourth one would be. I guess if I was pressed to pick one, I'd say Suede. But gosh, Suede was around before the
Yeah,
Britpop thing even hit. They were
yeah.
putting out music before.
92.
Yeah,
Like first early EPs were at 92, first album 93. Yeah,
I
so
guess
yeah. And
what
and and Blur obviously 91 was their first album.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Leisure. I
Uh,
mean that's a good record as well, Leisure. I mean,
Sure,
It's
we
not
did.
it's not perfect, but probably Modern Life is their best album.
Modern Life is Rubbish.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's the most
I,
complete album.
yeah, I really like that record too. That's a great album. Um, yeah, so I guess Suede's big Brit pop album was what coming up. I guess that's what's considered their big.
Yeah, or the other one, the other one's called. Well, even the self-title was pretty big at the time. I think that was praised by the critics. But
Yeah,
the other album is I forgot the name of it now.
yeah, I'm drawing.
Coming up, and what's the one? The other one.
Not Dogman Star.
Yeah, Dogman Star. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah, that's considered pretty classic.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, back to the Manics, everything must go is kind of lumped into I mean, I guess for the time, that particular album might be considered Britpop, you
Yeah,
know.
Design for Life and songs like that definitely are. Yeah, because it's the working class thing again about we only want to get drunk and all this kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, yeah,
And also I think the first song is something like Blackpool Pier is actual reference to a place in England. So yeah, I can see why that gets lumped in there for the Britpop thing.
yeah. That's such a good album.
But
My
also the politics as well. They say a lot about British politics in there.
yeah,
So I think that's another Britpoppy thing. That people might not get anywhere else in the world.
yeah. That and I think there was some lyrics of Richie's that they used on that record. Uh,
Yeah.
even though he was no longer around. But my old band that I was in here in Memphis called Crash into June, we actually covered Enola Alone off that record. I mean, can you imagine a band in Memphis, Tennessee playing a Mannix tune? I mean, I remember at gigs, nobody knew what we were doing. But again, just, our love of Britpop, you know, we usually played that song every night in addition to our original material. That's one of the covers that we would do. Um,
Yeah, you playing "Step Into My World" is the most surprising thing.
oh yeah, man, yeah,
Yeah,
that
step
was,
into my world.
yeah, that of course that
Step into
was
my world.
hell. We were doing that. The band, the Britpop tribute band had over here, we were playing that song just 2 years ago. Uh, again, yeah, like you say, a band in Memphis, Tennessee
Yeah,
playing "Step Into My
crazy,
World." Yeah.
crazy.
But again, I didn't care, man.
Hmm.
I didn't care then. I didn't care 2 years ago. I didn't care 20 years ago because I love that stuff, man. I mean, you want to please your audience, of course, but please yourself first. You
Hmm.
gotta
That's
love
it.
what you're playing.
Yeah,
Gotta love
true.
what you're playing.
Yeah, and you're carrying the torch. Yeah, carrying the
Absolutely.
torch. Yeah.
But yeah, like we said earlier when we were just talking, I know we've kind of drifted off Gene, but um, I think we covered them pretty well. But
Yeah. We're talking about we're still in context because we're on about the kind of the '90s scene around it, aren't we?
yeah, but and like we were talking about, there's a lot of great new bands out there too that are kind of carrying this torch and putting their own spin on it. You know,
Mm.
and that's one of them. And that first song on that set, "What You Know," is such a great tune.
But yeah, check out Carry On. But
The new one,
after this video, the new one, I really recommend it.
I like it too. I think it's great.
Oh,
But man,
you heard it already, yeah?
oh yeah, man,
Okay.
I've got all their stuff, you know, easily accessible to where I can listen. I think they're one of uh,
Yeah.
one of the good ones out there. I mean, "What You Know," I think I said in one of our other interviews, was like my favorite song of new bands that came out in
Yeah.
24 or 23. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Dreaming Out Loud as well. Really good rock and roller.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I guess we
In time. I wonder. Frankie. In the meantime.
oh, in the meantime's a great song, man.
Yeah, that's the one they ended it with.
Yeah, they're good. Really good.
And the Lilacs were there. Yeah, it was a good festival.
Yeah, and you
Lilacs.
I'm not familiar with them. I've heard of them.
Mm. But yeah, check them out. And
Yeah, I will.
who else was there? The Entitled Sons. They were good.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that wraps the video up.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed this one again. Another great one. I think we got the Gene stuff covered, and yeah, happy 30th anniversary to Olympian, and can't wait to see what their big announcement is. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, a great record. Uh, I revisit it often. Again, I can't tell you how excited I am to see this being celebrated, and can't wait to see what they announce this week. And man, thanks for having me on to talk about this record.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
I always like to talk to you about anything, so it's fine.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's. I think I kind of offer a unique perspective. You
Yeah.
know, a Southern dude in Memphis, Tennessee that loves this stuff, and you know, will always love this stuff. I think, you know, the stuff that was happening over there, and the music in the 90s and the 2000s, you know, especially the 90s, was just far and above what was happening here. Not to knock the grunge stuff. I mean, you know,
Mm.
for me, you know, what was happening over there was so much more interesting, and you know, lyrically and musically, and it just,
Yeah,
yeah, it
for
made much
sure.
more of an impact on me than what was happening here, you know. And then again, just like the new crop of bands that's happening, you know, the Crooks, Rosellas, right?
Marseille.
Yes, yeah, Pastel, you know, on and on and on. Again, it's encouraging to see these new bands, because it gives, you know, gives me hope for this new generation's embracing the 90s sound and doing something cool and putting their own spin on it. And, you know, I hope I get a chance to see some of those bands when I'm over there in October. Hopefully they'll be playing, you know. So, not to say that there's not good new bands happening over here right now. I mean, good young new bands that there is, but you know, with what I'm into, it's just, that's just happens to be what I'm following, and it's encouraging to see
Mm.
guitar music coming from young guys, man. It's
Yeah, that's how it
good.
should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Really cool. Yeah, and I can see the fire in your eyes. Your eyes light up when you talk about this stuff, so that's really good.
oh man,
Yeah.
it's had such a huge impact on me from the moment I first heard the Roses, you know, back in '89 or early '90, and it just set me on that path. You know, I gotta, you
Mm.
know, so.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah.
I mean, that music from the
Mm.
'90s. I mean, as much as I love the stuff from the '80s, you know, all the new wave stuff, and again, Talk will always be my favorite band of all time. But
Really?
oh yeah,
Are they?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
interesting because they're not even a guitar band, really, are they?
no, I know, right? But again, the last three albums they put out before they broke up, which is totally different sounding than that, The Party's Over and It's My Life. Once they hit The Color of Spring, that was their album where and again, we can do a whole show on this band, but The Color of Spring is where they made that turn into, the Spirit of Eden record, and their final record, Laughing Stock, is completely different. And man, to me, there'd be no Radiohead or Catherine Wheel. I mean, if it weren't for Spirit of Eden and Laughing Stock. I mean, if you listen to those two records, I mean,
yeah,
they kind of,
wow.
yeah. And Tim Freeze Green, who worked with Talk Talk, did all the Catherine Wheel stuff. So,
There you go. Yeah.
But my point is, the as much as the 80s bands meant to me, the 90s bands, really meant more to me, So, yeah.
Cool.
Happy anniversary to Olympian, and God, let's get these guys back together and let them see a tour.
Cheers to Olympian.
Yeah, man.
if only I had a beer.
I'll cheer.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. I got a water bottle, so there you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro.
Well, at least you're promoting something healthy. But
thanks again, man. I always enjoy talking music with you, and I guess
you too, bro.
If we don't do something before June, I guess we're going to do the celebrate the 30th anniversary of A Northern Soul with Ali from Reverb.
That will be good.
He's going to be joining us, and that'll be a great conversation. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Can't wait to get into that record and go track by track. And
hopefully there'll be a gig booked in Plymouth for Reverb by then.
Yeah.
I know he's trying to get a gig in my hometown.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, hopefully, man.
And also hopefully the guys from Gene watch this video.
I'll reach out to Matt. I mean, I talk with Matt occasionally.
Yeah. You could send the link to him once it's all uploaded.
I definitely will.
Brilliant.
I'm sure he'll get a kick out of this.
And tag Gene Official.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. Yes.
And one last thing, man, before we call it. Speaking of new bands, make sure you try and go see Twin City in Bristol. Yeah. I think is it April 4th?
Yeah, I keep on getting you a message about it. So yeah, I will. I'll see it.
I love those guys, man. Those songs are great, man. And I talked to Tobias, their drummer, frequently on here, but on socials. But man, what a great band. So
okay.
Hell,
yeah. I will see them.
Yeah, man. It'd be worth it. So good. Rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and rollers, mate. That's good.
Right,
okay, mate. All right, John. Have a great rest of your day.
And, well, I guess it's night over there, but
yeah, almost. Yeah, it's quite late evening. But,
cool deal.
Have a good one, and yeah, we'll speak again soon.
Yeah,
thanks for watching this channel. Bye. Take care. Bye. Bye.